Should you buy an endurance bike? 2023 edition. Alright, this is a video I've been wanting to make actually for a really long time, and I was thinking what better bike to make a video with. This is my father's 2016 Trek Domine 5 Series. Mechanical Ultegra, aluminum wheels, rim brakes, that kind of classic setup, single mount rim brakes. And this is kind of one of the earlier endurance bikes that just any brand started making. And by the way, I know I show a lot of Treks on my channel, but one of the stuff I say, it's for any brand. My family, we just didn't get a lot of Treks, but any brand, basically. I see this a lot. Like, I see this conversation being tossed around a lot with people. And why is that? I think the reason that is because of the growing interest in gravel and the big gravel scenes and the big gravel races and all the hipsters on gravel bikes. And I mean, look at this video. On my my Trek Domine SL7 with the ETAP, I'm actually riding gravel in this video right here. This was up in Vermont. This is really cool. This was on that big ride that I did to the north, to Montpelier. And you can see it's handling it just fine. And this is actually, this road coming up here, this was earlier, this is actually in New Hampshire. I forget if it was New Hampshire or Vermont. It was around that border on, if you've ridden these roads, US Route 4. I was going down this road and I was already beat up. I was on the bike all day and I was like,
oh my goodness! Squidward!
That was literally me. I was like, why is this road so torn up? This is insane. But I was thinking this bike has 32 mil tires. On the Trek specifically, they have the ISOSpeed. This is like one of the first generation earlier ISOSpeeds in the back. And this one actually had two of them, the bike I was on. And it, you know, was beefed up, it was wide. You know, endurance bikes have gone from looking like this to these just like fat aero, like monstrosity, really cool looking, like speed weapon looking things at the same time. And it's just taking it all like a champ. The carbon's absorbing it. If you have like a Specialized Roubaix or something like that, or you have like, actually no, not, Cannondale Topstone's a gravel bike. I was thinking that thing has the actual suspension on it, but the Specialized Roubaix, for example, that one, the Future Shock, that works really well. And I was just thinking like, wow, you know, that this is actually like a lot more comfortable than I think it would be otherwise. And obviously wider tires are going to be like the #1 thing. So a lot of people are like, why don't you just get a gravel bike? You know, gravel bike, you can go to gravel races and stuff. And it's like, you need to ask yourself the question though. And I'm not trying to be arrogant by asking this question, but like, how much are you really riding gravel? Like really? Like ask yourself the question, like in your mind, if you were to have a percentage, right? This is the percentage I'm going to be on the road. This is the percentage I'm going to be on the gravel. You know, how much are you going to be riding gravel? And I would say if the answer is like less than 50%, like I would not consider a gravel bike at all. And the reason for that is on most endurance bikes now, I mean, on my new Domine, well, it was new, but at the time when it was new, you have clearance for up to a 38 millimeter tire. And most gravel bikes come stock with like a 40 millimeter tire, and that's assuming, you know, you're going to be on gravel and it's going to be wet and you're going to be doing even more stuff. So I'm like, if you get an endurance bike, it still has that road geometry, it's still kind of built for speed and distance. I feel like it's not worth it to be on a gravel bike and to have, you know, to be more up in the air, right? And not to mention those tires, they have the knobs in those, and that's great if like that's all you're riding is gravel. But I tell people this all the time, like if they're like, hey, I don't know what bike I want to buy, I want to go buy like a cross-country mountain bike because maybe 10% of that one time I need to go off-road, that one time that may or may not happen, I'll be ready for it. But the thing is, until then, you're gonna be wearing down the knobs in your tires because I mean, I used to own a 400cc sport quad, right? And what would happen is, you know, it'd be so fun to go up the street and do pulls up and down the street, but the thing is, after a while, what ends up happening is your knobs will wear down, then you need to replace the tires, and like off-road tires are crazy expensive, you know, road tires are too, but when you're using them on the road, they're gonna wear, you know, more evenly. So that would be my answer. I'd say I think for most people, an endurance bike is the perfect all-rounder. And I know some people may disagree with that, but it's for all those reasons. You're running road tires, you have more of a road geometry, but you still have that off-road capability if you want to ride, say off-road, maybe even 40% of the time, I think that it really is the answer. And I think that this road here, this atrocious New England US Route 4 that's been through probably so much use over the years, just proves that I can ride over that road and feel comfortable at the same time. Whether it's a Roubaix or a Dominé or a Synapse or a Defy. Actually, the Defy is kind of aggressive, is what I've heard. Never ridden a Defy. Or a Canyon Endurance or some other brand I haven't heard of. Some other OEM brand I haven't heard of. Like, I think they really make sense for most people for those reasons. And I think you really will enjoy it if you get an endurance bike. I mean, most climbing bikes I've seen have just gotten more aggressive, they've gotten more aero, and they're less comfortable. And I feel like we're moving on from that time where you could get like a climbing bike, you could kind of also use it as an endurance bike, where, you know, it'd have the round tubes, you know, it'd be still pretty comfortable and compliant if like you go over a bump or like a really rough road that feels really coarse or something like that. So yeah, for those reasons, I think that an endurance bike is going to be great. Not only for people that are considering a gravel bike, but even maybe for people that were considering like an upright climbing bike, because they have gotten lighter. Some of them I've seen have gotten lighter because they were the first bikes people added disc brakes to and they got a little bit heavier. But I've seen things people are doing to try and make them lighter and also more aerodynamic. Now that sounds silly, it's like you're an endurance bike, but it's still more aero than a gravel bike, and you can still get down into the drops in that aerodynamic position, and you can pick up a lot of speed as well. So I would say you should buy an endurance bike in 2023. I think there's a lot of value in it. I think you'll like it. Let me know what you think, and